What's going on, party people? This is my college experiences, part deuce, freshman year. Freshman year was fucking freshman year. Oh my goodness. Yeah. If you've ever come from, you know the funny thing? It's not like I was like a sheltered kid or anything. I really kind of sheltered myself because I was just such a loner. My mom was always at work, so it's not like she was just this overbearing person. She just really wasn't around. When she was around, she was kind of overbearing. However, I was just happy to be, you spend 17, 18 years in one city, even though we would travel from time to time, just the fact of going to a completely different environment and just the new people, new challenges, new experiences. I mean, I love it. I thrived in it, so that was my first time really being out of Providence for months and weeks and months at a time. Usually when we travel, we leave a week at the most. Probably that's the most time my mom could have got out of work. Now living on campus, I didn't even go home. A lot of the kids at URI, they would go home on the weekends. My freshman year, I never went home on the weekends. I didn't want to go home. I wanted to stay on campus always. So I stayed there for like I stayed there damn near from September through like November before I finally went home one weekend. Only because I had to. I barely went home on the weekend. I mean, I went to college to experience the environment. I didn't want to go. I really wanted to go out of state, but out of state cost is so damn high. I had to stay in state. But anyway, freshman year was litty. When I first stepped on that campus, the first thing I knew I wanted to do was get high. that's all I wanted to do. I grew up listening to hip hop. Always hear the rappers talk about smoking, and you know what I'm saying. So I'm like, I'm going up there. I'm smoking. I'm drinking. I'm partying. If I have some time, I'll go to class. And that was the plan. It worked to perfection. Luckily for me, I stayed in the same suite as the trap stars of the campus. Two of my boys I went to high school with, which I'll leave unnamed. I won't name them right now. I ain't trying to put people business out there. But they was moving that, not coke or nothing like that, but they was just moving weed on the campus. And for a college student, weed is like the apex. That's all anybody wanted. And I remember them sitting, putting the plan together to take over the campus and really just, matter of fact, it wasn't even to take over the campus. It was just more like, we gonna get this bread out here. Like, they were trying to make some money on the side while we was doing the class and whatever. And they ended up taking over the campus. Everybody knew about them. Everybody came there to get some weed. And this is my suite that I'm living in. So I'm sitting there, riding the shotgun. Had many high nights. I still remember getting high for the first time. Once they was always talking about, putting their thing together. And it was just one night they was about to go smoke with a friend of theirs. And I'm like, yo, let me take that ride. So I don't even need to smoke or nothing. Let me just take that. Let me see what it smells like. Let me get a little experience. They was with somebody else, so I didn't really get to smoke that, but they let me take a hit of it. One hit, nothing really happened. And that was that. The second time, it was just us. So they let me hit a couple more hits of it. I think I might have caught a slight little buzz. And then the funny thing is, I had like my jersey on backwards the whole day and didn't realize it. So I'm looking down. I'm like, oh shit, my jersey's on backwards. And they burst out laughing like, you didn't know that? I'm like, nah. They was like, yo, he's high. One of the other suite mates, he wasn't on campus at the time, so they calling him like, yo, Kai got high for the first time. Kai got high. Like, they was all cheering me on and all that. So it was hilarious. We all do that when you around first time smokers. Everyone wants to cheer them on, tell them, just inhale, like, inhale, exhale. When you cough, that's how you know you did it right. I coughed, but it was just a little buzz. I want to say the next night, they invited me to smoke again. This time, this time is when I got high. So it probably took about, you know what they say, third time's a charm. I was like, oh, shit, what the fuck is going on right now? This shit, I felt like I was floating. Like, I felt like I was a fucking astronaut on the moon. Now, when they're walking all slow, like I'm looking around, I'm like, oh, shit, what the fuck is going on right now? I felt like a giant walking around a bunch of fucking ants. And, the giant's walking all slow, at least to the little ants that's watching them. Just walking around looking, and that shit was crazy. And that's when I got high for the first time, and I was like, man, this is amazing. That shit was crazy, man. And I was hooked from that point on. Not hooked in like we smoke every single day out of the week type things, or all day. We was never those kind of smokers, because luckily we was in college. We had classes to go to, we had meetings to go to. We had this program, talent development, aka TD, that we was in, and so we had to go meet with them like once a week, and they would have us do other things. When you freshman, they give you all these different type of things to keep you busy or whatever. Joined a couple groups, NSBE, the National Society of Black Engineers. What else? It was another one called the Underground Railroad, Basically supposed to be a bunch of black dudes getting together to waste time. Because we went there and we argued. This is the worst group of all time. Because we literally just went there and argued about what we was going to do when we showed up to the meeting. So we really went there to talk about what we was going to talk about when we was in the meeting, or talk about what we was going to do. I was like, what the fuck is this bullshit? Like, this shit was like, there's no kind of leadership in this group. No one's really doing it. Some dudes go up to college and everyone wants to kind of reinvent themselves. So if you come from the hood, I'm expecting you go up there, you want to be like the cool intellectual black guy. Some guys wanted to come up there, they wanted to be gangsters or something. I'm like, nigga, we in college. This is the place you want to come here and be a gangster? Why wasn't you gangster back when we was in the hood, when we was around the real gangsters? Now that we up here, you want to be the tough guy? That shit was always just corny to me. So I eventually ended up quitting that shit. And then Nesby, I eventually stopped going to that too, because I'm just not a group oriented type of person. I'm just that loner, man. No matter what happens, I always seem to end up by myself. So, and to be honest, I grew to love it. I love being by myself. I love being around other people, but it's always it's always great to be around other people. But then once I'm by myself, it's like, I really like just the best of both. Really, that's really what it is. Yeah, so I stopped going to all of these things, and I'm smoking in the midst of all of it. I'd probably say we probably smoke like a couple days, something like that, a few days. It wasn't like a constant thing. But again, my friends. Oh, by the way, I used to help them. There would be times where both of them would have class, and they'd call me like, yo, can you go to the room real quick and serve this customer? These are my first experiences selling weed. Even though the money wasn't mine, they'll be like, yo, I'll spark you up later. I'm like, word? Hell yeah, I got you. I would do anything like, yo, do this for me, I'll spark you up. I'm like, what? Hell yeah, I got you. That's all you had to say. I'm like, nigga, all you had to say is, I'll spark you up. I would probably did anything. Not anything, but most things. This is what got me started. If you see part 1 of this series, I talk about selling weed by my senior year. So this is my freshman year. So this is my first kind of experience. I just did what I did the first time, gave the customers what they need. Everything came to a screeching halt by the semester was almost over. It's probably like a couple weeks to go. My friend wakes me up one morning and says, yo, they arrested our other boy, who the two of them were selling weed together. Yo, they arrested him and his girl. Come to find out, I wake up. I go in the bathroom. They used to keep their weed in the ceiling. The ceiling tile was taken out. It was on the ground. The cops had came in, arrested everyone, got the weed, and it was a whole sweep. It wasn't even like a one-time thing. I mean, just like a one-person arrest or two-person arrest. It was a campus-wide drug sweep. First and foremost, I can't believe I slept through that shit. Like, how the fuck did I sleep through a fucking drug sweep? That's fucking crazy. And the fact that they never woke me up. I was a little afraid because I used to help them from time to time. So I'm like, oh shit, like, am I implicated in this? Can I possibly be kicked out of school? This shit ended up on the fucking news. Heathman Hall, freshman dorm. Like, it was centered, the whole investigation was centered on my entire dorm room. Not my personal room, but the entire dorm. And my friends, my two suite mates, they was like the trap stars of the campus. So everybody knew about them and the weed that they were selling. So, and there was other people like selling shrooms. Some kid bugged out off shrooms one day. So I can't even believe that there was an undercover investigation on a fucking college campus for drugs. Like, of course we're doing drugs, but at the same time, we're trying to make ourselves better. Like, nobody trying to be a drug dealer for the rest of their life. We're in college. People just making money on the side. It doesn't excuse it, but I think there's better things the police can do with their times than doing fucking undercover investigations on a fucking college campus. Like, that's a little ridiculous. That's how you know they ain't really have nothing better to do. The funny thing? There was drug sweeps in the hood around that same time. It might have been my sophomore year, but I don't remember. Either my freshman or my sophomore year, there was drug sweeps at that time too. So there probably wasn't nothing for them to do. They had undercover officers that looked like college students. So I'm like, did I possibly sell to undercover? I don't know. I mean, nothing ever came out of it as far as me. My friend and his girl ended up getting kicked out of school. She actually came back a couple years later, but he was in jail for like around a year, over a year, under a year, a little bit. I don't know. But I seen him a couple times after that. That was crazy. And the funny thing is, just being from the hood, it didn't seem that crazy. I mean, probably most people, if they were involved in some way or form to a drug sweep or a drug arrest, they probably would be freaking out. Again, coming from the hood where most of the drugs is sold, well, not most of the drugs, but where a lot of drugs are sold, the drug trade is heavy over there. I know a lot of people who was doing their thing. It's funny, it took me all the way to college to get involved in some things like that. Like, my mom heard about it. And I even heard, they said that my name was on, my sister told my mom that my name was on some drug list or some campus list of people that's involved in the drug trade on campus or some shit like that. And, I had to lie, of course. I'm like, she don't know what she talking about. Don't listen to her. Come to find out, it was probably true. It's crazy just thinking back on it now. I have so many experiences, smoke bongs for the first time with people I never met before. Smoking gets you into smoking has you meet a lot of people that you wouldn't have met otherwise. Just coming together to smoke. We smoke with so many different people. Freshman year was the shit. Freshman year, fall semester was the shit. After the whole drug thing happened, I mean, I think it kind of freaked everyone out. So that was pretty much the end of my smoking for the rest of that year. I don't think I smoked again spring semester when we came back, and then all throughout the summer, because I didn't know how to get it. The people who I knew just got involved in that situation. So I'm sure they wasn't eager to get back into it. I wouldn't smoke again for the rest of that year and throughout the summer. It was fun while it lasted. My smoking would start again. Next video. These are my experiences. Holla at your boy.